everybody, and welcome back to 2023, or welcome to 2023, whatever floats your boat, your flying car in 2023. Brad Shoemaker, welcome to the future.
I'm getting a free flying car?
Free, oh boy, here we go.
You didn't say free, but I'm just going to assume that it's free on the house.
Free flying car.
Free 2020 free.
Oh, there you go. Now you've done it.
You were not into my 2020 preposterous yesterday.
No. I haven't changed my mind.
2020...
I still like Flea, but in the we need to get the fuck out of here.
Flea.
2020 ski. Anybody want to ski?
2020 agree.
I don't know. Considering how many snowmobile accidents there have already been this year, no skiing for me.
Okay, let's stay away from the snow. Alex Navarro, happy New Year, happy 2023.
Yeah, I mean, technically, it's accurate to say we've come back to 2023 because technically we've all done that 4 times now. It's 4 days into the year, so every single day you wake up, you have come back to 2023, and guess what? It's all still fucked.
Wait. Where are you when you're not in 2023?
If I could answer that question, brother, I would be a billionaire.
Are you in the ageless realm of dreamland?
Like the early 90s, mid to early 90s, like 92, 93.
Yes, the end of history.
It's where I'm a Viking.
I was thinking if I could make a fake town and stop it in time, it would probably be around the mid 90s for me. I'm assuming that's a very personal choice, but it's like pre-internet, or like really early internet. And CDs, right? We have decent audio quality. We have DVDs. Yeah?
No.
No?
Late 90s.
No.
Late 90s?
Late 90s.
VCDs?
I think at that, I forget what the format was that they were kind of messing around with before DVD, but
it's called VHS.
Video CD was out. I mean, if you mean mass market, it was VHS to
It was
DVD.
still VHS at that point.
Okay, VHS
but I mean, there was nothing in the middle that was even remotely popular. I mean, and video CD was pretty big in Asia, I understand.
Yeah, there's a lot of old anime stuff you could only get on VCD.
But over here,
I'd probably have a couple of caveats for my weird stuck in the 90s town. I would still... Would I want to...
Do you at least want, DSL cable internet?
Well, there's no internet.
Okay, well, that's... All right. That's a double-edged sword. Because, boy, there's no internet. There's no internet.
There's no internet. No ordering stuff online.
No.
You
got to go to a store.
That's a tough one.
Or you got to call somebody.
Maybe there's an internet data set. Maybe there's a library. You can get it. You can go to the library.
Oh, yes. There's still libraries in the 90s.
There's still libraries in the 90s, and they have one computer that's connected to the internet. Yeah, maybe not.
The Conan O'Brien in the year 2000 bits are still relevant then.
Yes, they're very funny. They're extremely funny. There must be towns that lock themselves into years and are
yeah, they're called gated communities.
But this one's only from the 90s, and it's very weird.
Some of them would like to go back to the 1930s in terms of politics.
Yes, I thought you were going to say something different. Gated communities.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's my second question. When is it inappropriate to say Happy New Year? How far into the new year is it inappropriate to wish someone a Happy New Year?
I think the second you stop writing the wrong date on stuff, that is when it is too late.
Okay. But I don't write... Who writes the date on anything anymore?
Yeah, sometimes you still have to date a thing if you're signing I don't write checks really anymore, but sometimes, let's say in our line of work, we have to sign an embargo sheet or something. They want a date on that.
Okay.
I write a date on every recording that I make here.
Yeah, but digital stuff doesn't count because the date's right in front of you. It's right there.
Yeah, you're still going to write that date into the file name.
Yeah.
I'm saying the second you stop thinking it's the previous year, you have to stop saying Happy New Year to people. That's my declaration.
I'm gonna say a week and a half. I'm gonna say
yeah, sure.
By about the 10th, it's you can't just be like Happy New Year. That's come on, man.
Unless you're doing it ironically.
And also only if it's the first time you're speaking to the person that year.
Oh yeah. A double Happy New Year is probably never appropriate. You can't say Happy New Year.
You already said that to me.
Yeah, it's all you've already wished me a Happy New Year. Now it's you're wishing me not a Happy New Year. Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me so much? I've got to talk to all the crossing guards, and then when I got a coffee or something, and
How many crossing guards are you talking to on average?
Oh boy. Oh brother.
I understand it's volunteer work, but like, how many are you churning through on a regular basis?
One, two. Well, there are like crossing guards on many corners, so there's not the same spot. Mm-hmm. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Damn.
5 crossing guards.
Why, do you tip them all at Christmas too?
Cookies.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know more crossing guards than I interact with human beings face to face on a regular basis.
Crossing guards are great. They know everything. They're like the spies of the suburban community. They know all the dirt.
They're like that guy in Pentiment whose entire job is just to burn shit. That guy out there making the coal guy. Yeah, he knows everything, even though he's kind of out there on the fringes.
And like they have a great network too, because they could send information with kids from one crossing guard to another.
All they have to do is use their stop signs in different signals, and they can communicate without using words.
Semaphore.
Just made me realize it's almost 3 years since work from home began for us. Obviously, not everybody is in that position.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's March?
Yeah.
3 years since the in-person Def Jam.
Yes.
As it shall be known.
But less than that since the second in-person Def Jam.
No, since the Xbox died.
Since the Xbox died.
I need to resurrect that thing at some point.
Where were you on the day the Xbox died?
I had a question that is not related necessarily to the new year, but a piece of information that has come to light in my household. When I was asking, my kids are back at school. I was like, did you guys talk about what gifts you got and, what gifts other people got? And my son said one of his friends got a 3DS. And he said, do we have a 3DS? I said, yes. And he said, can I have it? And I said, yeah. And I
said,
you want it? I said, wait, did he get a new 3DS? And he said, yep. And
Hang on. By new, do you mean like new in box retail factory wrapped?
That's what I meant.
Or do you mean the branded new 3DS?
He said he got a blue 3DS. A brand new blue 3DS.
I don't know if they were still putting new on the box as of the end of that.
the new. So
I'm looking right now on Amazon, and every one you can buy is refurbed.
Interesting.
Okay.
Here's a new 3DS XL, $418.95.
I hope that's not what happened. So my thing was, I said, I don't. He said, he's downloading like Kirby stuff, and I said, I don't even know if you can anymore. Is the store still open?
I think the eShop on the 3DS still works.
Okay,
yes, I believe that is.
It hasn't been that long since they stopped manufacturing that thing.
It is a little hard to keep track of. Like WiiWare is no longer available.
Yeah, okay.
Wii eShop stuff, but I believe 3DS is still safe. It is a lot to keep track of.
I mean, at some point they will announce that shit is all offline. I just don't think it's been long enough since they decided that was no longer a going concern for them.
So also, I mean, I doubt the parents were aware of this, but that thing has been hacked so thoroughly at this point.
They would certainly not be aware of that.
Okay. I wonder. I suddenly had a vision of the parents being like, we got to pay top dollar for the one that he can just pirate all the games on.
Yeah, that's what They're like, oh, he's got every Kirby game on there. How does he have every Kirby game on there?
Okay, so here's the news on that. I'm updating this because I thought I remembered maybe they had announced something. So, I think this was in that news when they were talking about some upcoming eShop discontinuation stuff. As of May 23rd, 2022, it is no longer you're no longer able to use a credit card to add funds to an account on a Nintendo eShop on the Wii U or the Nintendo 3DS family of systems.
That's right.
So you can't buy anything, but you can download stuff you bought.
Yes, and as of August 29th of last year, you can no longer use a Nintendo eShop card to add funds to either of those either.
Okay. So you're cleaning out your funds.
You can still redeem download codes until March 27th of this year.
Yeah, that's the actual end date on this support page, is that you can't buy anything in that eShop for the Wii U or the 3DS after March 27th.
So they better get on that shit right now.
So he did say he's got carts. And I said, is he downloading or has he got carts? He's like, I'm not sure. I'm like, okay, well, either way, I need to talk to this friend. He comes over. I'm going to talk to him. I need to figure out what's going on.
This shit fall off the back of a truck. How did you come into possession of it?
Because a 3DS XL is fairly recent. That's like 5 years.
Yeah, in that range.
And what's the one that never folded? The 2DS?
The 2DS.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said it was a collapsible one.
I believe there was eventually a clamshell 2DS.
Okay.
But the original 2DS model was the one that did not fold.
Okay.
The original, yes, the original.
There was a clamshell 2DS? I need more. I need more
They did a lot of
information.
hardware refreshes on that thing.
Okay. Jeez.
I could be wrong about that.
The only 2DS I ever saw was that one I think Abby got for the studio, which was like the one that had like the USB output on it. That she was going to do that.
I don't think I have ever actually put a 2DS in my hand. I don't think that has happened.
Yes, they did. They did make a clamshell 2DS.
Okay. Man. So here's maybe the wilder thing. It would be the second of his friends that I know that has a 3DS and in active rotation.
Huh.
You can't get rid of that thing.
It's a good system.
It's a good system.
No one's disparaging the system here.
It's the third pillar of Nintendo's product offering.
The other friend plays Mario Maker on it most of the time, which is like, okay, good. It's a good one with the stylus on there in the whole business. But yeah, 3D. If I were to draw some conclusion, it is that the Switch did not supplant the 3DS in the hands of 10-year-olds. There are more 3DSs now coming in and out of my house than portable Switches. Yeah,
they're smaller. They got little hands. It makes sense.
Sneak into a backpack to school easier. It's the battery lasts longer.
I just can't get over the first question in this Q&A on the support page about all this stuff shutting down.
Which is,
why is this happening? This is part of the natural life cycle for any product line as it becomes less used by consumers over time. Like there's a real there's a real death as a part of life vibe to that answer.
Yes.
It's part of the natural life cycle.
Yes.
For any online infrastructure that we no longer wish to pay to maintain.
It's like somebody found a bird that fell out of a nest. Why did this happen?
Yes.
Why does God make consoles not for sale anymore?
Well, yes, the classic, my favorite classic Calvin and Hobbes storyline when Calvin finds the injured baby eShop, and they bring it home and put it in a shoebox and try to nurse it back to health.
You can't. That's part of the cycle. That kid should watch the Atari 50, where they discover the first product life cycle and all the mistakes that were made. That's maybe one of my favorite parts of the Atari 50 documentary part, is them all talking about like, this never happened before. We really didn't know what to do. A gaggle of
70-year-old men being like, we didn't know what we were doing.
We didn't know
no one had done this shit before.
We didn't know we needed another one. We weren't sure.
We were all 25 and on drugs.
No, there were no drugs in my office. All right, folks, we're going to talk about some video games today. Mostly it's going to be about the games we played during the break. Some of those games will include games like Pentiment, in the case of the Golden Idol, Card Shark, Grounded, some Vampire Survivors, amongst other things. Not amongst us. Amongst other things. But first, before we get to that, I forgot we had the biggest upgrade possibly in the life cycle of the PS5 happen in this household and maybe others.
Yes.
More hard drive space.
More storage happened. We all bought drives for the PS5.
We did.
We've upgraded. Brad Shoemaker, you have installed your drive on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you had, I guess, what would 1 be in the self-installation?
Your console caught on fire.
You had to return the thing and get a new thing, and it's a nightmare. And you're still, with 1 being you're still working on it because of horrible problems, and 10
your console
being like,
has a hacking cough now.
You bricked your console.
Yeah, you bricked your console, but user error. And 10 being like, it could not have been easier. Where would this fall?
Gosh, maybe a 7?
7? I was gonna say a 9 or 10. It was painless.
The only thing that was hard about it was that I put aftermarket plates on my PS5.
Oh, the white,
not Sony ones. I put the D-brand dark plates on there, which actually have a different shape from the Sony ones.
Are they harder to get off?
And it was a little bit harder to get those off, just because I couldn't remember how. I couldn't remember where the release was and quite how to slide it off.
Yeah, and you don't want to break the tab.
Yeah. Once I basically went and watched an install video on those things and went in reverse, and I was like, oh, that's where you release that. So yeah, once you get the plate off, the plastic plate, to be clear, it's just one little metal plate with a screw, and then if you know how to install an M2 drive after that, it's pretty straightforward. I'm
going to knock it down to a 9, but I knew this going in. The one thing that was weird, it didn't throw me for a loop because I saw a video of it before I did it, is the mounting, I don't know what you call it, the post for the M2 drive comes off. It comes off with the screw. So just be aware, if you're used to PC M2 drives, usually the post screws into the hole, and then you rest the M2 drive on it, and then you screw it in. This thing free floats.
That one
in there.
Just sits in there.
Yeah, it sits in there and then kind of screws in with the screw. Is a little weird. But yeah, did you put the metal plate back on? I was over the M2 drive. I was kind of debating. I
actually saw some people online who leave the little metal plate housing thing off. Because the drive is secured in there with screws. So
and the drives that we got, you linked them. They had heat sinks, and
they got heat sinks. So we all got the Western Digital that Mark Cerny has promoted before. I think there are technically faster drives out there now, but that one is.
I moved some
highly
stuff,
compatible.
and I moved about, I don't know, must have been about 250 gigs over to it, and it took about 14 minutes, maybe.
It's very fast.
It was very fast from drive to drive. And I was very happy with that.
What was your benchmark?
65? Yeah, maybe around there. I can't remember all the numbers.
Mine came up at about 6,500.
Yeah, that's probably
megabytes per second.
Yeah,
read speed when I installed it, which
it's cool. They benchmark it.
They say as long as it's above 5,500, you're good.
Okay,
but the drive claims up to 7,300, and I was like, wait a minute,
damn,
what's going on here?
You didn't grease it before you put it in there.
But yeah, I went to the Amazon page, and there were 800 pictures of people posting screenshots of their benchmark that were all right around 6,500. So.
Okay. Can you benchmark it afterward? Can I do it again?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it only does it when you install it and format it. I could be wrong.
Okay. And it's only game stuff, right? There's save data and everything else still stays on the internal.
I believe that's right. I think even like videos and photo and screenshots have to stay on the system storage.
Well, just in time for me to get into Call of Duty stuff again and
take up most of the new drive.
The new drive.
Oh man, I have the glorious moments of just going through my library and downloading everything. Everything.
And
then by the end of it, I was like, oh, I had just filled up all of that new storage. Oops.
It can go quickly. I just moved the active stuff over to it so that I don't know. I just wanted to give some breathing room back to that internal drive because it was at the point where my son kept being like, "Can I play Miles Morales?" I'm like, "You can't."
Totally.
No one can.
No, sorry.
Totally. I guess.
I'm not deleting.
I've been deleting basically games on like a 3-month cycle at this point. Like if I have not played it in 3 months or I have finished it in that time, it's gone.
Yeah, I was at the point where every time I got a new PS5 game, I had to delete something.
It's why I was getting so many platinums, just so I could finish them up and then delete them. Be like, I got the platinum. I'm good. I need to get out.
I have to do another pass now because, like I said, I filled it all up, and then at some point I'm going to have to be like, you know what? I probably don't need Godfall installed.
No, you do not.
You really,
I probably don't need Godfall or Borderlands 3.
Probably do not.
Or, nothing against Gearbox, but...
Like, I took Stray off. Like, games I finished, I was like, I'm not going to go back to Stray anytime soon. I took that off and did not make the move over. But yeah, that's the PS5. If you're looking to get in there, what's the drive again, Brad? So people can know. If
it's that Western Digital Black.
Okay,
SN850X is the one we got, but I don't want to sound like we're shilling for somebody.
No, I know there's a lot of confusion about compability out there too with it. So
yeah.
I'm sure people will.
Yeah, there's
we make no claim to
right.
If it is, gonna fail in a month or so.
We just caught it on a good sale. There's a ton of drives out there that are more than fast enough these days. While we're talking about deleting games, I confirmed they patched out that exploit that lets you get the Callisto Protocol Platinum very easily. So,
you tried.
In case you're interested in deleting that as well.
So you can't. Is it that you can't switch difficulties on the last boss?
Well, so number one, apparently the glitch was that you had to start the game on the hardest difficulty, and then you could drop it as soon as you got into the game. But it had to be started on the highest difficulty, and then when you got to the last boss, you just had to put it back up.
Oh, okay.
And fight the boss. And even then, they were like, if it doesn't work the first time, reboot your console and reload the autosave, and then after the credits roll, then it'll probably pop the second time.
So wait, did you beat it? Or you never started on hard?
No, I never did the preamble. But also, they patched that exploit out. So.
Okay. We'll wait for the new Game Plus. Get that new Game Plus. All right, let's get into the games we got into this. This past week and a half during the break. Let's start with Pentiment, a game. Alex, you finished. I finished. Brad, are you deep in the Pentiment?
No, I got a few hours into it, but I haven't really gone back to it since the kind of couple weeks after it came out.
I think I like it better.
Sorry, just real quick. I think we will have to talk a little bit about some story structure stuff to kind of get into what we want to say. We are not going to spoil the story for you, but like there are elements of like how that game structures itself that I think we have to talk about here if we're going to do this.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll try and avoid
this is my warning to everyone.
Okay. I liked it better after I finished it. I think it wrapped up. I was just kind of dragging in the, let's call it the third act, at the beginning of the third act, being like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff to do here again. But I really liked how it wrapped up, and it drives home what I suspected was its point, that you're not going to make the right decisions. Like you're not going to be...
It's not that kind of game.
It's not that kind of game. Yes.
No, it's a story that is like, they build it very much as this murder mystery and you're investigating this murder. But like the murder is an inciting event and an important thing that is sort of part of this larger story about this village and these people that live here. Tassing, yes.
Tassing.
And the thing is, your main character, Andreas, like, obviously he's very important to where that story goes, but it's not a game about him specifically. And as it rolls along and it kind of unfurls that nature, especially as that third act kind of kicks off and it sort of changes some perspectives around, I think that stuff is done in a really deft and like exciting way. Like, I think they did a really good job of like giving you a lot of buildup that feels like it is one kind of game, but when it does kind of shift, it doesn't feel like it's pulling the rug out from under you so much as like kind of just opening up a perspective of like, oh, this is what this is actually about. And what this game is about stories. It's about history, and it's about the way that those things shape and reshape depending on who builds on top of those things.
Yes, it is. It's still not without its faults, or at least in my opinion, without some problems in the gameplay, and also I think in some of the storytelling, but it's a strong enough landing at the end that I kind of came back around. Not that I ever really disliked it, but to really enjoy my time with it, where I didn't feel like it was wasted or being abused.
Where do you think it faltered for you?
I still have problems with the time it takes to go around and talk to everyone. I still think that is too laborious, and for a small village, it does take a while to get around there. It takes a while to run around, to go to screens where sometimes you'll just go into a screen and somebody will just say, "Hey, Andreas," and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I just ran all the way over here for a "Hey, Andreas." I'm gonna go run back and check all these, these 5 other screens just to make sure somebody is not there who's going to give me a little bit more information about what I need to do or to fill in some gaps, or the game will tell you pretty much, it'll mark on your map the main points you want to be at. But there's a lot of side stuff you maybe want to fill in before you go to those points, and so that
some of that stuff is just flavoring, but
some of it is, but not all of it.
Yeah.
So that stuff I found a little tedious, and sometimes the conversations with people were long, and like getting through some of the text was not. That wasn't tedious. It was just kind of went on longer than I would have liked in some places, where it's like I get it. We could kind of move through some of this stuff, but
sure.
I never got a full sense of who everybody was, and maybe a family tree on like one of the back pages of the journal would have helped me out a little bit better too, because just finding everyone, it's some of that stuff just takes a while. Like when you're in the appendices of your kind of journal looking at people, it even takes a while to like scroll through the people and find the person you're looking for.
There's a lot of characters, is the thing.
There's a lot of characters,
and sometimes a surprising number of those actually get some like significant story beats, even if it aren't necessarily made part of the main plot. Like they have information or like are part of a tertiary thing that you do kind of need to know about.
Yeah, and like you sometimes, I feel like it would help me in the narrative to know exactly at the time of somebody's talking what this person's relationship is to the rest of the town. Sometimes I would forget, like, oh, who are you again? Shit, fuck, I forget.
Yeah. Which family are you a part of?
Yeah, I forget, because people are all kind of all over the place.
Made me feel like for a second you were role playing the like extremely stuck up aristocratic version of Andreas.
Yeah.
Who are you again?
I would sometimes forget, you choose, and this is a minor quibble, but I would sometimes forget what stat was being used from my character creation role of, it would show the symbol, and I'm like, I don't remember exactly what this head with the planets orbiting around it means, but I'm going to pick this one because I think it's a special a choice I could do. So some little stuff like that is some of my quibbles with it, but the biggest one was just, it felt like I was sometimes doing more work than being entertained. It felt again laborious in some spots. It sounds like, Alex, you really loved it.
I did. Do you have any sense of how, like, I mean, I guess you just have to straight up compare notes to answer this question, like how different your endings are, like how much can change? I mean, there's like half a dozen decisions in the character creation, and then you make a bunch of decisions throughout the story. Like, it seems like there could be a lot of branching.
So the thing is, I don't think the story itself really shifts that much. I think that there are outcomes that you will, like, the game has a way of kind of displaying what some of those outcomes are in the credits or in, like, the final sequence. But those things don't really matter in the grand sum of, like, the main story beats that take place. The biggest events, the biggest inciting events in that story are going to happen one way or another. How you navigate through those spaces, what the relationships you have to the characters that are involved in those events can change, but the stuff that's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, it's a story about, I mean, this is right in the name, so it's, in Pentiment or Pentimento, which is, basically you're layering stories on stories.
Yes.
You're layering
stuff in the margins.
Well, not even stuff in the margins. It's not the illumination stuff.
Oh, right. Yes, sorry.
It's the kind of revealing a layer to reveal another layer and all of that stuff, like sediment. It's like So that is the thrust of this whole tale.
Yeah, I mean, again, they emphasize this pretty early on. Like, Tassing itself is built upon a bunch of old Roman ruins that has its own history and its own story. And then there were pagans that were there before even the Romans showed up. So, like, a lot of the town's history is just layering, paint on top of paint on top of paint of, like, mythology and stories and family knowledge and all that kind of stuff.
And so I think by the end, when that really comes into focus of what is going on here, that's when maybe the work I had put in felt like it really paid off in that game. And it was very satisfying. And they do some really nice story stuff, I think, at the end to make it a satisfying conclusion.
Totally.
From what I played through. Though there are some, again, going back to some minor things in the last bits. And Alex, you and I have talked, I'm not going to spoil it, but in the last bit, you and I talked off camera. I wish there was a little bit more of expositional text with some other things there, because I had forgotten some of the choices I had made throughout my time with the game, which is a pretty lengthy game. It goes on.
It probably took me about 15 hours, I'd say, to get through the whole thing, maybe even a little less. But
I feel like it was more for me. I should look up exactly what it was, but fun game. I really enjoyed it. I think there's some stuff I wish was a little faster or snappier or move, but that just might be that game. I think
it's all very deliberately that way.
Yeah, and their hook with the different text styles and the way they write out the text. While I think it's novel, I think, Brad, you mentioned this too at some point, maybe during the Game of the Year stuff. I'm not sure I would have put as much weight on it as if you hadn't come back and a lot of their videos hadn't been specifically about
it's
how much
a
work
style
was put
choice
into it.
more than anything else, I feel like.
Yeah, so it didn't seem... there might be layers I'm missing in some of those things, but when it works, it works. There are a couple of pretty decent reveals with that use that mechanic, and that really works, but... aside from that, it's neat. It's a neat mechanic, but I wouldn't say anything truly hinges on it.
No,
and I like the story they told in the end.
I think by the end, I was very, very into what they were doing.
Yeah. It actually has a pretty steep, or I should say, a rapid story pickup at a point. Like you hit like things kind of plod along for a while, and then it like goes, and then you're like on a cart.
I don't necessarily agree that it plods. I was pretty engrossed in what was happening even before it kind of got to the turn. Okay. But I think, yes, I do think that like business certainly picks up at that point, and like that I was super like, I'm going to finish this right now as soon as that started.
Yeah.
But I was into like the perspective shift and kind of the early goings of that stuff, and I kind of I caught wind early on that like some of the murder mystery stuff, like in terms of like what you decide to do, who you decide to accuse, that kind of stuff, doesn't have a like you made the right choice, you made the wrong choice kind of stuff to it. But that I think that more than justifies that aspect of it by the time it gets there in the end. Like it's not about that. It's not about you made the correct choice. You did the right thing. It's more about you are literally just doing the best you can with the information you have, and you could be wrong, but that's the point.
Yes, that is the point. And it makes it clear by the end that is the point. So, Pentiment. Thumbs up.
Big thumbs really up from me.
Yeah. I think it's $20. $20.
And it's still on Game Pass.
Still on Game Pass if you're out there.
You're one of those people. I'm one of those people. I'm not being judgy here.
All right. Let's take a quick break here. We'll come back with a couple of other games that we have gotten to recently. Stick around. This week's show is brought to you by Bespoke Post. Alex and Brad.
Yes.
It's Bespoke Post time.
It is.
Is it ever not?
Well, there's times between the boxes of awesome.
Fair.
And, where I assume you're enjoying your boxes of awesome, but you're not opening your box of awesome. It says here to unbox your box of awesome. Can you hear that?
Yes, he is absolutely contractually opening a box as we speak.
A box of awesome. This week I got cologne. I got cologne from a company called Guy Fawkes. And remember the scent of November? I don't know.
It's January now. We can't do that.
You're gonna smell like gunpowder?
I don't know. Well, no, I'm gonna smell like bergamot, pepper, and rosemary with this scent called Mara. Box of Awesome probably has something you're gonna want. To get started, take the quiz over at boxofawesome.com. Your answers will help them pick the right box of awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories, and each box is valued around $70, but you're only going to pay a fraction of that price. Plus, with each box of awesome, you're supporting the small businesses of the world. 90% of everything that comes in your box of awesome is from a small, up-and-coming brand. It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel at any time. Brad or Alex, anything in your box of awesome you got recently you want to call out?
I got a sleep mask.
Ooh, I could use that.
Some sleep-enhancing products. Some gummies, let's say. What is in those gummies? That's for you to find.
Ooh. Alex?
I got a camping chair, what folds up into a little bag so you can carry it around with you, and then you unfold it and put it together, and you got yourself a camping chair.
Man, both of those things sound very useful.
Would you say they sound awesome?
I would say they sound like things that would be in a box that said Box of Awesome. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code Nextlander at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code Nextlander for 20% off your first box. Boxofawesome.com, code Nextlander. Thanks, Bespoke Post. All right, we are back. I've got two quick ones here that I'm just going to mention because I think they're worth mentioning and I really enjoyed them. One is The Case of the Golden Idol. It's a PC game, came out in October. It's $18 on Steam is where I got it, though I think everything's on sale now. If you catch that sale, though, sale might be over. No guarantee.
$15.29.
All right, there you go. Is the winter sale still happening?
Yes.
Winter sale.
Some kind of sale is happening. Some kind of sale is always happening.
It's true. There's a New Year's sale. There's a fucking, there's all kinds of shit.
The Case of the Golden Idol very much looks like a kind of a early Macintosh game.
Yeah, wow. This is a weird art style. It's not Yeah.
It's like it's got if folks remember, it's got that kind of it's not quite I wouldn't say pixel art. It's got that real
like HyperCard kind of almost.
Yeah,
So it's like
rastered to with a capital R.
Mm-hmm. It's got this dithered look to it.
Yes.
It's not like traditional like PC VGA graphics like you would see in most point and click adventure games. It's
chunky, and I really liked it.
Some I'm trying to think how do I say this? Like maybe a bit adjacent to clip art.
Sure. Yes. And it's a kind of point and click text detective game where you get a scene, and then you get by examining the scene, you kind of get a bunch of verbs, nouns, adjectives, and stuff, and then you have to. Yes. Is
this a photo hunt game?
You can turn off the things that tell you where to click, so you can hunt in the picture. I turned them on because I did not want to do that. But you click underlined text, and it'll be added to your, I don't know what you call it, your verbiage, your the stuff you can use later on to basically Mad Libs the scene together in the proper way. So you'd say like, you'd find a letter that says, "Dear Brad, I want to write you and congratulations on your new PlayStation 5 storage," right? And you'd click Brad out of there. Now you have Brad in a thing. Later on, you might be like, "Brad went to the ice cream store." Later on, you're putting it all together to try and piece out what happened in the scene.
Some of these screenshots are all like, Oscar Wright got into Henry Green's room through the trapdoor.
Yes, right, yeah. So it's kind of that, and there's a logic you kind of have to apply where at some points you'll get letters that say, Oscar Wright never eats with his left hand, but was seated next to this person at the table, and then you're kind of putting these Leighton-esque things together to solve this tale, which is actually kind of neat tale that spans at least a generation or so of occult madness in, let's just say, in like the 1700s. I think it's 17. Is it 1700s?
I don't know what the date is, but it's definitely got like a kind of powdered wig sort of thing going on.
It's neat. I liked it a lot. I finished it up. It's not super long, obviously depending on how quickly you puzzle some of that stuff out. But it's fun and a little silly, and I like the style it has. I like the mechanics it has, and I like the story it's telling.
That looks neat. I may click download now.
It's cool. It's a thing. If for the grab bag we wind up streaming, I might show a little bit of it and start a new game or something, because it's. I finished it up. I want to see more in this style. It's maybe like a little Obra Dinn adjacent. Let's say kind of vibes of there. The other game I wanted to mention quickly here that I think is worth checking out, and thanks to everybody also who has mentioned this on the Discord, along with the Case of the Golden Idol as a great game, Card Shark. Have you guys heard of this?
No. Until you mentioned it, no.
I think it's put out by Devolver Digital. It's also got a really nice art style, but it's a game where you play as this kind of young adult who doesn't speak in also revolutionary France or 1700s, let's say. I'm not sure. My history is bad here, but and you are learning how to cheat at cards along with this kind of let's say you're apprenticed to this master. You're learning how to cheat at cards, but you're mostly, so far from what I played, cheating the aristocracy. Like you're meeting
so not
people
cheating
like,
at all then.
You're meeting people like Voltaire and stuff like that along the way. And the whole thing is like learning how to be a card cheat, where you're like, okay, here's how. And the mechanics and the QuickTime events are about palming cards and remembering cards in a shuffle. And it actually got to a point where it was getting a little too complicated for me, because you have to remember, okay, you're going to take these 5 cards out of the deck. Make sure I always get the highest card in the deck order, but you have to remember the 5 cards you took out, because you're going to put those cards back in the deck later on. So it was actually getting a little complicated and tough with some of the card shuffles and tricks. And there's some timing events in it, almost quick time events in it, but it's really neat. It's something I hadn't quite seen before. My son is way further along in it than I have. He loves it. Which I don't know if he's getting of any of the political drama in it, but he really likes the card stuff. But also, It's hard. It's a difficult game. It's for people with better memories than I. Like, I just, you know, I'm like, I'll take out 5 cards, and then 5 seconds later be like, I do not remember anything that I took out. Was that a queen? I don't know. I just blew it. We lost all our money. It's neat. It's called Card Shark. I think that one's $20 as well. I have it on PC, but it might be on Switch. It's a neat game with a neat atmosphere that I recommend checking out. At least some videos of it. Maybe we'll show that off during the grab bag as well.
This animated GIF of, I can't tell. It can't just be a mirror. There's something on the table where you're like passing a card over, and there's something reflective, and you can like very subtly see which card, because the card is turned over.
Yeah, and you'll have to remember those things.
The reflection of what the card is. Is it telling much of a story? Like, the Steam page says 18th century France, but like actually explicitly says, where is the line? Cheat your way to the top of 18th century French society. So, I mean, is there actually much of an actual story, or is it more like backdrop? So
I think there is an actual story. I'm not far enough along in to know where it goes, but if you want to correct my history here, it sounds like it is beginnings of some kind of revolution. So I don't know when the French Revolution
was like 1790s.
So it sounds like you are in the beginnings of a fomenting revolution, and again, you're kind of cheating a lot of the aristocracy out of money, and part of kind of traveling disenfranchised people who are you know, kind of pooling your money together from the cheating and working your way up to I don't know to what end, but I would assume I'm projecting this right now to lead to the beginnings of some kind of uprising. It seems like things are at a breaking point, let's say, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, the cheating and the card stuff is funny. Also, your character doesn't talk, so any responses are just facial expressions. You get like a choice of like 3 facial expressions, which is kind of funny. All right, quickly here, I beat Grounded. I don't know if you guys remember that game, but
that's right. I forgot that's a game you can beat.
Yes, I finished the story on Grounded, and I went back in. I did the holiday stuff, made sure I got my Christmas tree and my wreath. Yep.
I guess there's always next year or this year.
There will hopefully be a Christmas again.
I have that stuff, and then went in and finished up everything I needed to get, finished the story, finished it with my kids, and then we turned on creative mode, and oh man, what a fun time to go from a survival game where you're struggling with everything to creative mode where now you just have unlimited everything. And the first thing we did was just build a gigantic castle in the middle of a lake.
Does it let you creative mode your existing like adventure save, or do you have to start a fresh world?
Oh, we just started a fresh world just because we could get back up to where we were in seconds. I then also downloaded the so in creative mode you can unlock pretty much everything, but you can't necessarily give yourself like 1,000 peblets. Like you can unlock the recipes that would use all those peblets, but you'd still have to go get them. There's nothing that would give you a bunch of resources.
And you definitely can't just give yourself the ant club whenever you want.
You can do that. You can do that, but you basically just have to go build a workbench and then make the ant club and get that. But
gotcha.
You can't you can't necessarily do things that are, I don't know how to describe it. Some things require to have those, like the turret requires you to have the pebblet as ammo. So to get the ammo in your pouch, since you can't build a pebblet, you'd have to go mine it and go get it. Does that make sense? But you can build 1,000 ant clubs because it's something you can craft, but you can't craft a pebblet. So I wound up getting one of those like Unity editors that's like give, like 1,000 peblets and stuff. And like, that was cool. I mean, that's a game it's a local one, so it's not going online or shared or anything like that. But that was the first time I ever tried one of those like DLL injectors that sounded like super shady, but it seemed to be okay. And
was this the Windows Store, the Microsoft Store version, the Game Pass version?
It was the Windows Store version, yes.
Huh,
so
interesting.
I don't know if they'll be checking against my account for DLL
Living
violations.
Dangerously, huh?
I guess so. But yes, you cannot do it on the Xbox, and there were things. But we wanted those peblets for the turret. My son wanted to build a target practice room, and mining all the peblets again was going to take too long.
Did it feel like there's much payoff from the story?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
I do. I mean, I'm not that versed on taking a survival game to its completion. Like, I don't think I've ever I can't think of a game I've done it for with a narrative. But
I can't think of a lot that have. Some of them have like traces of story, but
I think there is. I think in this one there is a conclusion. There's like a boss fight and a whole end and a resolution and credits. Like you finish, and then my biggest complaint about that narrative stuff is you reload back in before the end of the game. I wish there was like a post game.
Oh, that's
thing.
Weird.
Yeah. So like you reload back in like before the last thing you do. And that's always a bit weird. Like it feels like you have the suspended note hanging in your game that you have to go do something. Yeah. Grounded. Survival mode's fun. I wish they would let you spawn stuff, but I get that the mechanic's not there. They don't. Microsoft don't ban my account. And I think the story is very good. I think that game is great. Going to be near the top of my, or I think it'll be near the top of my top 10 list this year.
Maybe one day I will finish that game. I think I talked about it in the game of the year. Like I'm probably going to pick it up with a different group of friends again soon. So I'm going to start it for the 4th time.
It's long. I mean,
is it really?
Oh yeah, I think it's long. I mean, maybe when you're playing with, people that, like another group that is. Let's just say not 10 and 8. Things might go faster, but we were playing on mild, and there's still like a lot of grinding and getting stuff. Alex, did you play any more Vampire Survivors?
Even if I hadn't told you that yes, in fact, I did do that, that would have been a fair question to ask me, considering how last year went.
Where did you play it? Where are you playing it? You're saying
I'm still playing on PC.
Okay, so you didn't switch over to any of the Xbox stuff?
No, I thought about that, and that seemed like a recipe for me literally never playing another video game again. Because as long as I can keep containment to my PC, so when I boot up my console, I'm like, oh, well, there's other games here I can play. If I see that on another thing, that's going to fuck me up. So that's no good.
Okay.
But yes, no, I'm still playing on PC. I mean, the thing is, and this has been my experience with that game ever since I first was introduced to it. I will go about a month playing like every other day for a little while, and then I won't play for a little while, like a couple of months. Then I'll come back and I will have another big boost. I didn't play Vampire Survivors really until like after 1.0. I didn't really play much until toward the end of December, but during the break I played an absolute shit ton of it because they've now done that absolutely nefarious fucking thing where there is a checkbox on every character and it's like, hey, which levels did you beat with this character?
Oh, interesting.
Oh, you only have 2 beaten with this character. Maybe you should do some more.
Oh, wow.
Do they tie achievements to all of that?
So a lot of the unlocks aren't, like, there are some that are like, hey, get this character to level 50 or, level 100 or whatever, but, like, not you have to beat every level with every character as far as, and there might be a Steam achievement for it, but there isn't, like, an in-game unlock for that, I don't think.
Sorry, did you say you did have the DLC?
I do have the DLC. I have the DLC level.
Okay.
And so there are some unlockable characters that come as part of that. I beat what okay, so I still haven't beaten a vampire, but I beat a glowing mass of swirling heads and psychedelic background information or like info, like design. And that felt like what was supposed to be a final boss fight, but I feel like it isn't actually the final boss fight because that game seems like it is just a constant rug pull of, yeah, actually there's more you can do.
Recent Watchcast experience should have taught us that vampires can take many forms.
It's
all
true.
Forms.
Yeah, but I've beaten, I think every unlockable level with at least one character, but it's possible there's other stuff I just haven't found. I don't know.
Can you survive the Grim Reapers for a little longer now?
If I do all the things you're supposed to do, yes.
Okay. That's all. That's my entry point.
There are several steps involved, but yes.
Some more Vampire Survivors for you on the horizon?
I don't think I'm going to stop playing that game unless someone takes it from me, and that is not me begging anyone to take it from me, but it is me casually hinting that at some point someone might need to do that.
Fair enough. Brad, what'd you get up to over the break? Anything?
Don't ask me that question.
Uh-oh.
We just did.
Uh-oh.
No. Is it,
Well, yes.
I choose not to answer.
Okay. Did you defend anything?
I played an alarming amount of Dota 2.
So what do you think? Are you back in it?
The real reason I got back in there, I think, is just because there's a battle pass that's tied to the international, which happened 2 months ago, and there's like a week left on it.
Okay.
And there was a whole bunch of like easy, low-hanging fruit to unlock on that thing. Most of which I have unlocked at this point. I think it's a week from today that thing ends, so I've got another week to get like 5 more levels on there and get the last treasure that is within reach for a game I don't play anymore.
Did you find
great use of my break time?
Did you find a good ramp back in? Like, was there a little friction, or was it
like that? No, like that turbo mode is like the thing. Like dude, those matches are like 20 minutes long.
Where they used to be, what, like 40 or 50?
Like minimum 30 minutes for like a stomp. Like if you got completely wiped.
Oh wow, okay.
Like it was still probably minimum. Like under 30 minutes was like rare. I mean, I've had matches that went over 90. Those were also pretty rare, but easily 45 minutes or an hour.
Okay.
But, dude, those just get in there and whip those things out. Like, and like, I still ran into a little bit of toxicity here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the prevailing attitude in those turbo matches is just like, fuck it, whatever, it's turbo.
We're having a good time.
I quite literally had numerous people when like some shitty sniping at each other on the team was happening. People would be like, fucking whatever, it's turbo. Who cares? Just throw and queue again. Like, who cares?
Whatever, it's turbo. Like,
we're 13 minutes into this match. Just like, fucking
forget it, Bradley.
Like it's turbo.
It's turbo.
Straight up had, like, I had the other team at one point was just like, hey, we're just idling in Fountain, please just end.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, like totally. It's like kind of chill, surprisingly.
Huh.
And as far as I know, they don't keep any match stats or record at all. They're unranked. Turbo is inherently unranked.
Okay.
It's not, because ranked matches you can't do. Turbo is just faster for people who don't know.
Sounds
you just get gold and experience way faster and can just kind of whip through the match. It's kind of nice.
And it counts for battle pass stuff as well?
You get half credit for the battle pass. So, like,
okay.
If I need 2 matches for this weekly quest, I actually have to play 4, but they go so much faster. Who cares?
Okay.
It's just been nice to, for the most part, have like a pretty casual Dota experience where people are just like, whatever.
Did it take you a while to ramp up to anything you've missed?
Yeah.
New metas or
like that stuff. Oh yeah, I'm useless. Like half the items are new, and I have no idea what the what is it even called? There's like a mage basher, or what is that thing called? Mage slayer.
Okay.
As an example, like it's a weird thing where like they very aggressively redesign Dota all the time, whereas something like, a StarCraft or like most games like that are much more iterative and like just balance patching and stuff like that. Like this game, they will just throw out items and be like, hey, there's 6 new items in this patch. Here you go. Unlike anything you've ever seen before. Okay. Or like just a ton of different little things now that I had no idea about. So I'm completely useless. I apologize to the teams.
Were you playing with randoms?
I have gotten a couple of like, definitely some side eye in a couple spots. People go like, hey, if you're new, maybe go play with some bots or whatever.
Wait, is really? Somebody
I definitely was like, no, I'm not new. I just haven't played in 5 years.
Okay. That's funny.
It was pretty much the end of that conversation.
Is it mostly text chat or voice chat?
I had one very jovial guy on voice chat proclaiming how high he was.
Okay.
Perfect.
He was playing Witch Doctor for anyone who cares.
No notes.
That match. Dota's still a good time.
That's good.
I'm glad you're having fun with it. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
You come back to it like, those addictive games, the ones that are, the monkey on our backs. It's always dicey going back to it. It's like, am I playing this because I'm enjoying it, or am I playing it because I have some kind of weird brain slavish dedication to it? So as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters.
Dude, one of the items that was low hanging on the battle pass, like I said, is a free Arcana, which is a $35 item.
Mm-hmm.
Get it.
So I have it. I haven't decided which one to unlock yet, but I have a token for a free Arcana. I've basically made $35 playing.
That's right. That's right. You're losing money by not playing.
Do I want the Ogre Arcana or the Juggernaut Arcana? I can't decide.
That's a choice only you can make.
It's true.
That's right.
Anything else you want to get into?
Also, they have a holiday map. That's the last thing to say.
Of course.
Very, very insidious. One of the other things they give you as part of the Easy Battle Pass stuff is a free month of Dota Plus.
Okay, what's Dota Plus?
It's their subscription service, which has like all kinds of assists for making the game more approachable.
Okay.
But also the holiday map is a limited time. You have to be a Dota Plus subscriber. So
oh boy.
Real sucker for playing Dota on a Christmas. Well, it's more just generic snowy, but anyway.
My goodness.
I am an easy fucking mark, apparently, is what I'm trying to say.
Or you enjoy Dota. Get in there.
It could be both.
Yeah.
I don't see myself sticking with it past the end of the Battle Pass next week, but
okay.
It was something to do.
No, I'm not here
last week.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I thought about talking about this before the break and just kind of didn't have time. I have been fiddling with Sky Children of the Light again a little bit now that it's out on PlayStation. It's the most recent game from that game company and Genova Chen.
Okay.
Of Journey and Flower and Flow fame. You remember them?
I do remember them.
Sky was an iOS exclusive for like 3 years. We did a quick look of it back when we were still in an office, if that tells you anything. It just came out on PlayStation in December.
Okay.
A couple days before the Game Awards.
Still free?
Yes, it is still free to play. It's like kind of Journey, but a social, like a free-to-play social game.
Mm-hmm.
And by social game, I mean there's no combat. Like it's
so like more social than Journey?
It's because it's like there will be tons of people in there with you at one time. It's not like it may be matched with a person.
Okay.
It's a live game. Like it's not a linear story game. It is a thing you're intended to come back and play all the time.
Okay.
Anyway, I went to that Aurora concert. That's
in the game.
Yes, the thing. If you watch the Game Awards, and Aurora is the, I think, Norwegian singer songwriter.
That sounds correct.
Who got up there with Jeff Keighley at one point during that thing and said like, "Hey, I'm having a free concert in Sky tonight after the Game Awards. Come to it."
Yes, Norway.
Add Sky to the list of games that have had a concert in.
And I was like, you know what? In-game concerts are a thing now. Maybe I should go check this out. And it was kind of cool.
Audio quality just fine?
Perfect. Yeah. So it's not a live thing. She's not in the studio performing. It's pre-recorded.
Huh.
But it was kind of weird. They straight up throw you into an arena with thousands of other people all running around emoting and stuff, and a stage.
It's still a little weird, but okay.
Once the show started, it ports you to some like crazy, trippy audio-visual experience thing where I and 4,000 other people here are actually flying manta rays soaring through the sky. Her stuff is very ethereal, as you might imagine.
Okay.
A lot of ecological themes and stuff, and it's a lot of, I'm an animal, now I'm another kind of animal. We are all flying around and heart emoting at each other as we fly.
But it's custom for this event. Like
you can go pull up a YouTube video. They put the whole thing. It's like 45 minutes long, but
that's pretty long.
It was a weird, trippy experience, and maybe I need to get out more. Like I said, working from home, you don't see a lot of people, but there was definitely a moment of like, this is kind of cool. Me and a couple thousand people are all having this experience together.
Do you know how they're monetizing that at all?
You mean the game in general or that concert?
No, I mean, well, somebody's got to pay for the concert, so I was wondering what the...
I think the concert is just promotional. I didn't see any way to spend money against the concert event itself. It went for a month. They were doing it every like 3 hours it just ended a couple nights ago.
Okay.
Oh, so she was artist in residence for a while there.
Yes, she did a month in Vegas. Sky Vegas.
Okay.
I didn't see a way to put money into the actual concert thing. I think that was just supposed to be a draw.
So you couldn't
get people into the game.
No, like merch or couldn't get like a T-shirt.
Kind of. It seems crazy that they wouldn't have something like that. Maybe there was something that I didn't see.
Just curious.
There's a $25 Journey pack you can buy for that game that has a bunch of like Journey themed clothing and stuff in it.
Okay, so there is stuff in the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's all kinds of cosmetics and stuff that you can spend money on.
I'm sure you can get your.
It is a mobile product.
T-shirt's not really that game's style though. Like maybe a scarf.
A scarf. Okay, Journey scarf would make sense.
Yeah.
All right.
I keep thinking about going back to it now that it's on an actual console and I don't have to play it on a tablet. I might mess around with the actual base game a little more.
Sky, Children of Light.
It straight up has the sand from Journey and the sand skiing from Journey. Like it's remember that like nice little like specular highlight like speckly look to the sand in Journey.
Mm-hmm.
It 100% is that again, and you can totally ski around on it just like you could if you want to play something that's an awful lot like Journey.
What do you do?
I don't know. You run around and emote at people, and there's like environmental puzzles to solve, and there's a lot of exploration.
I like puzzles. I like exploring.
And stuff. It's chill. Much like Dota 2 Turbo, Sky is a chill game.
It's chill. Hey man, it's just Turbo. It's just Sky.
Yep.
Just Sky. Very quickly here to wrap it up, I got into, I don't know what the timeline on this was. There's Call of Duty is kind of a black box to me at this point, but I got into DMZ. So this is part of the Warzone 2.0.
Yeah, you mean timeline in terms of like when that stuff came out?
I don't know. Is Call of Duty even tied to Warzone anymore?
That stuff all came out subsequently to Modern Warfare 2.
Okay, so
I think DMZ came out even after Warzone.
So I didn't own, emphasis on did, not own Call of Duty 2, or Modern Warfare 2, sorry. I did not own Modern Warfare 2. The new one.
Not the 09 one.
But then my older brother was playing DMZ because it's free on Warzone. And he's like, this is kind of rad. It's 3 people. And like, it's not really Battle Royale, but it's kind of Battle Royale, but it's kind of like the Division stuff where you had to, get out of there.
Yeah, everything I hear about it every time somebody pitches it to me is, hey, it's like Escape from Tarkov.
So I never really played that, but that was always the Battle Royale for people who were serious about Battle Royales.
It's fucking crazy hardcore. I have thought about messing with Tarkov for a very long time, and I'm kind of afraid of it. But
that always kind of scared me. But this seems a little bit lighter fare. The thing that drew me in to it was there's AI populating the map. There are real players in there, but there are other squads of real players. But there's also AI in there, so you can go up against other combatants, but they might be AI, which you can survive against, right? Not every encounter is basically white knuckled, like, oh my gosh, I gotta hide in a bathtub. And so you can make progress. You can do a couple of missions, but there are other squads also doing missions on the map. And at some point, if you're like, we need to just get out of here, you can go to the exfil point and try and get out. But, you might imagine, other people might be trying to get out too, and there might be a struggle over the helicopter to get out of there. I really enjoyed it. And to the point where I wound up buying the Battle Pass and call it Modern Warfare 2 to get...
the game.
The game, because there was like a deal with... It's one of those, maybe I'm the mark. It's one of those things where you can pay for the Battle Pass if you make it through the Battle Pass. And if you buy the game, it was on sale during the break. It was like, I forget what the cost was, like $80 that came with the game, the Battle Pass, and like a bunch of credits, like 55 level skips in the Battle Pass. I was like, oh man, if I do that, I basically pay for the Battle Pass halfway there on the thing.
Can't afford not to buy this game.
Can't afford not to. I'm losing money by not getting it. Plus, it opens up the rest of the locked things, the other co-op things in the Warzone 2. That, I don't know if you guys have been in that Warzone 2 menu in a while.
Dude, yes.
There's 800 things in there.
Yes. I also have played a little bit of Warzone 2.0 with some friends recently. We wanted to play DMZ, but there were 4 of us, and that really tops out at 3, unfortunately. But straight up Warzone, obviously you can take 4 in. Dude, those menus are out of fucking control. It is the busiest online live game type interface for quests and equips and unlocks and cosmetics and battle passes and the whole shebang that I have ever seen.
Maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic here, but I went and investigated because we had been talking about possibly doing some stuff with it, and I find it upsetting to look at.
It's a little disturbing.
It's irritating to my existence that it is like that.
It was pretty late at night, and I was halfway through a beer when we were playing, and I saw those menus, and I was like, I don't know if I can.
I don't know if I got this in me, man.
It's almost bedtime. I don't know if I can get into this right now, but we went for it.
It also has this kind of like Russian nesting doll quality where you'll go into a thing, and then that menu explodes into another like million things, and then you go into one more thing there, and so eventually I'm just like, when my brother's playing, I'm like, dude, just pull me in. I'm just on the the surface. I'm floating on the surface of the water. Just throw me a line wherever you are, and I will try and come into wherever you are.
Get me the fuck out of here, man.
Because I cannot find you right now. Just just give me a thing. It's also they say it's in beta, DMZ. It works, it plays. There are some kind of hinky bugs here and there where you're 90% you're in the game, but if you want to join somebody, you want to be like, oh, join this player. It's going to be like, they're in a game, you can't. And it's like, oh, well, then just queue for when they're out of the game. I don't want to sit here and, keep pinging them. So it's neat, though.
I'm looking forward to trying it. I think we're gonna stream some of it. I like that kind of PvE VP thing is more my speed these days than like a pure PvP.
Same here.
I enjoyed the Warzone that we've played so far, but man, like people, this is very old hat to say, people are very good at the game.
They're super serious, and I've had a lot of goofy run-ins in DMZ that feel fresh to me. Like,
okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah, some like the kind of fun mix of, oh, we're up against this AI stronghold, but there's a car coming and these are players. What do you want to do? Do you want to like engage them with the stronghold, like bail out of this thing, hunker down? Like those kind of decisions are fun because AI adds a twist on the map.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I'll say for Warzone is like kind of shocking how survivable it is, or how many opportunities you have to get back into the game.
Like the gulag.
Coming from like, you know, I mostly played PUBG. As my Battle Royale experience is like 90% PUBG.
Yeah, mine too.
And that game is just extremely harsh, like one and done, you're out type stuff, you know, and like we had matches where I felt like I got pulled back in after dying like 3 times before it was over, you know, from going to the gulag and being able to win that and get back in to like I believe your teammates can collect enough money to buy you back in, or those things might be related, I forget. And there's like getting down to the final circle type stuff that I think can resurrect people. Like it's kind of cool.
So DMZ mixes some of that up where this is also interesting. Instead of the circle closing, circles expand out from certain places where there's this kind of like radiation thing that expands out and starts covering up the extraction points. And so you've got to find the ones that are still available as radiation spreads outward instead of inward. And you can res your teammates. You can, if you just walk up to them, you can pop them back up. You can self res if you have the right revive, if you have the right thing. It's also pretty survivable, and I think that's why I like it. Anyway, we'll hopefully check some of that out. Yeah, the DMZ mode particularly.
I'm excited to see that. I mean, the key question for me is, do you lose stuff between matches? Like, first of all, do you carry stuff over? I mean, the whole Tarkov thing is like, you can die and just lose everything you have.
So here's the weird thing. It's a thing I don't love, but all right, you have your Call of Duty, let's call it your Call of Duty gun slot, right? The weapon that you're like, okay, here's my Call of Duty gun. I've got my mods on it. I've got whatever on it. If you bring that into a match and you don't make it back out, it goes on lockdown for like an hour or two, right? You get different slots. But if any found weapon you take out with you can use when you come back out. So they call them contraband weapons. So you bring those out with you, and those you can use back in the game. So there's a mix between like, oh, I found this like sweet contraband weapon. I'm feeling pretty good about this one. I'm going to bring it in and use it. So most of the time, my main weapon's on lockdown. But every time you exfil, that goes down. The timer goes down. So if you do better, that timer reduces.
Huh. Okay.
It's interesting.
I mean, timed lockdown kind of feels a little bit like a half measure to me, but on the other hand, it's a mainstream enough game. Like, come on, I guess they can't just take people's good weapons forever.
Yeah, so they don't take them away. You will lose your contraband weapon though if you lose that when you don't get out. But sometimes I don't mind just going, like there's AI in the game, right? So I don't mind just going in with my fist, punching the first guy and getting a gun and being like,
all right, we should play this. That line just sold me. I mean, I wanted to play it anyway, but we should check this out. Maybe later, maybe we should check out Tarkov.
Oh man, I don't know. That's still scary. That's still frightening.
I don't know.
Tarkov.
Honestly, I will just say it before we move on. Like the fact that you need a whole separate account and launcher and everything to get Tarkov is like kind of a barrier to entry.
Tarkov was the game where I would tell this one person who was at the CBSI office, I was playing Battlegrounds. He's like, "You ever played Tarkov?" I'd be like,
it absolutely has that kind of tone to it.
Oh, you're playing Battlegrounds? You ever get into Tarkov? Oh man. And be like, no, you want to get into the real shit?
Get into the real shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, it is that, and it's like once people are in, they never play anything else. Like it feels like that kind of game that it's the only game that people play.
It's that, or people are playing Tarkov, and people are playing was it Hunted, the one that we went back to, Brad? The
Hunt Showdown.
Yeah, Hunt Showdown. They're all in. They're just playing Hunt Showdown forever. All right, let's take a quick break here. We'll come back with some news before we're all done here. There is still news to report on, so stick around. We'll be right back. This week's show is brought to you by Mint Mobile. Alex and Brad. Cell phones, I love them.
Telephones.
Telephones. There's one thing I love. It's telephones and talking on the telephone. But you know what I don't like? spending a lot of money to do it, especially on my mobile phone. If you're like me and don't want to spend a ton of money on your phone, Mint Mobile is offering their unlimited plan for 50% off. It says here, as the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. But, of course there's a catch. Of course. You gotta hurry because this deal is gonna end January 15th. That's about the same time you gotta stop saying Happy New Year to people as well. Just gonna add that in. Mint Mobile is kicking off the year with their best offer ever before January 15th. Buy any 3-month plan and get 3 more months free, even on their unlimited plan. By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings on to you. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily in minutes with eSIM. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. Now here's the call to action. Buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/Nextlander. That's mintmobile.com/Nextlander. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Nextlander. Hurry! Offer ends January 15th. Thanks, Mint Mobile. And we're back! News happened. Brad Shoemaker, you gone out there, you put your news hat on, read these news stories.
I have no news hat.
No news hat. Okay. It's more of like a toque. Is that what they call them? The toque?
Toque.
Toque?
Toque?
A toque, a news toque. You put your news toque on.
Is it like a toboggan?
Yeah.
Yes,
you put your news toboggan on.
It's the Canadian toboggan.
I see.
Hey, listen, we all can't make the news.
Not a reporter.
Not a reporter. We want to be 100% clear here.
We're mouthpieces.
But what can you share of the news that you have found out there?
Well, my sources tell me.
Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's a good start. Not a reporter.
No, I went out and looked. It's been 3 weeks at least since we did a podcast where we talked about news.
3 weeks since you did a podcast about news.
If not more.
Yeah, it's bad.
2 weeks. That's it. We did the game of the year.
Let's let Brad actually report the news.
No, you don't want to keep doing this. Not a reporter.
Just looked around for some stuff we missed in that interim, and came up with 4 things. Basically, hey, it's the holidays. Not a lot going on, except with the FTC, 7 days before Christmas. 5 days, 6 days, 19th.
19th would be
6 days
before Christmas. It's a Christmas miracle.
The makers of Fortnite are paying an epic amount of money.
Oh God!
Are you sure you're not a reporter?
In order to settle a legal complaint from the Federal Trade Commission. Yes, Epic is paying I believe a record settlement to the FTC.
Money
for two different violations. It's technically 2 different settlements or two different sums, but they add up to $520 million, which is over $500 million if you're keeping score.
I can't keep score anymore because I'm not sure what that actually means in Epic funds.
Split about down the middle, almost 275 for violating the privacy of children under 13, and 245.
That's my favorite one
for essentially duping people into making purchases in Fortnite unintentionally, and then not only refusing to refund them, but in some cases locking their accounts out if they pursue. Like if they, for example, issue a chargeback with their credit card.
There was a language in this piece that you linked from Video Game Chronicles that said the FTC said that Epic used dark patterns.
Yes. So this is a full-on dark pattern situation.
I
don't know. I don't keep up with FTC comms enough to realize that they themselves are using phrases like dark patterns these days, but
I had never heard of dark patterns. Is that
it's a blanket umbrella term for like insidious UI design in UX design in games with microtransactions that kind of let you fall backwards into spending money without meaning to, or very subtly encourage you to do so, etc., etc. stuff like moving UI buttons around or switching them. I mean, I'm sure there are a bajillion strategies that I'm not even aware of and probably fall victim to just like everyone else.
Yeah, I feel like we don't play enough mobile games to have been repeatedly subjected to this stuff. But
well, to be clear, this is everywhere. This is in like tracking on the web and like you name it, YouTube videos. Like it's like I said, it's a very broad term that really kind of covers anything that is manipulating you
and so
into spending money.
Again, these are settlements, right? They were not found guilty. This was a federal complaint, and they settled. They settled, and then they kind of had a statement here at the end.
Again, kind of not a lawyer, neither a reporter nor a lawyer here.
Yes, but there are no criminal charges here. It's a settlement.
No.
At the bottom here, Epic says no developer creates a game with the intention of ending up here.
Yeah, I'm sure you did not intend to end up on the end of this historic settlement.
We accepted this agreement because
that part I believe that they did not intend to end up on the end of this settlement specifically.
Dude, from the FTC statement, like this is the quote to me about like they describe it as counterintuitive, inconsistent, and confusing button configuration led players to incur unwanted charges, blah, blah, blah. For example, players could be charged while attempting to wake the game from sleep mode, while the game was in a loading screen, or by pressing an adjacent button while attempting simply to preview an item.
Yeah, none of those things should happen.
Like,
you know what?
It's pretty
I
egregious.
can see all of those happening. Like, oh, the game is like you hit the space bar to wake something up, and you
it's like
the thing.
My Switch is laggy coming out of sleep, and like, oh, interesting. The purchase interface was active before it was visible on the screen.
Listen,
strange.
Our UI guy said escape is a perfectly reasonable a substitute for accept. If you're just jamming on escape, it's not my fault if you just said yes to a bunch of menus.
Yes.
Then whose fault is it?
It's my fault.
Epic's. Legally, it has been determined to be Epic's fault.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't. Again, not a lawyer. I mean, didn't go to court. I don't know. Settlements often involve no admission of wrongdoing.
Epic
also, they put out a big statement, basically saying like, "Hey, we want to be at the forefront of good practices for this kind of thing,
but we're not."
So yeah, they basically, talk about a lot of changes they're making and that they want to, lead this effort. Like I said, they're paying more money here for collecting information on children 13 and under, or under 13 rather. And also doing things like enabling voice chat for users that are known to be under 13
by default, right? It was not opting in. It was which they stated in this article again, allegedly or could have put minors at risk for harassment by having them in voice chat by default.
Yeah, this FTC pretty aggressive about a lot of tech stuff, which feels overdue.
Yeah, I mean,
and we'll see if they actually get there with some of this other stuff. But yeah, I mean, like going after, Ever for their part, they are saying that they have tried to make amends on this stuff over the last few years. But like, I think feet still have to be held to the fire on this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that $245 million is going to be used to refund people who made erroneous purchases and were not able to get refunds previously.
Sidebar here. Do you remember the Equifax breach?
Yes.
I got my check.
Huh.
For $2.48.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah, definitely worth my time.
Don't spend it all in one place.
To have spent time pursuing that. Yep. Yeah, it's just something.
Do you bother to cash it?
That's exactly what my wife said.
You don't even like now. Everybody can just do mobile check deposit. You don't even have to leave the house anymore. And I'm still not sure I would deposit.
So I think mine might have been $4 and my wife's was $2. But like, something's broken. Something ain't right. Anyway.
I've still got my check from Sony or rather from the class action settlement with Sony over the other OS Linux stuff.
How much was that?
Over $10.
Ooh, well, at least okay.
But that was such a fun, weird case that I would rather keep that check.
The check is worth more than the money.
Granted,
yeah.
Now with I don't think I had the mobile deposit was available when I got that, or I could have both cashed the check and kept it. But anyway,
you're right though. That one's more fun as a prop.
Yes.
All right. That's some FTC news, but Epic not out of the news. Brad, what else did you pull here?
They announced that they are shutting down online support server infrastructure for a variety of games, which, like, looking at this is really weird. Thinking about what the Epic umbrella now encompasses, because there's a bunch of Unreal stuff on here, which, sure. And a bunch of Rock Band stuff, which, oh, right. And Dance Central, also. So
I was, in reading this statement by Epic, I'm just going to read the opening paragraph here, because I was I'm not sure what the current state of the Epic online experience is supposed to be. They say, starting today, we'll begin turning off out-of-date online services and servers for many older games in the Epic family as we move to solely support Epic online services. Is that a thing, first of all? Are Epic online services...
Oh, yeah. They've been trying to make it a thing. I mean, they've got middleware that you can integrate into your game.
So they go on to say, with its unified friend system, voice chat features, parental controls, and parental verification features. So those are first-party Epic things that would have that?
Yeah, you can as a purveyor of a game on the Epic Store, you can hook that stuff in directly into your game.
You can. Okay.
If you choose.
Then they go on to just say that's the part I was confused about. Most titles will be playable offline, with some will no longer be playable.
Yeah.
And we apologize, etc.
Except that quite a few of these Unreal games are essentially multiplayer only games. So I don't know what it means for some of this Unreal stuff. I mean, fucking Unreal Tournament is on this list. Like UT.
Yeah.
Like, forget 2003, 2004, Unreal Champions, like any of that other stuff. Unreal Tournament.
Unreal Tournament.
Which, I granted very much on the Quake side of that fight. But UT is a good game. Like, I'm not against... I have nothing... I played a ton of UT.
Yeah, that was my multiplayer shooter of choice in that era.
Something low grav instagib on Facing Worlds.
Yes.
Everybody had a good time there. Like, just I don't know where this is going. I don't know if they're gonna relaunch UT with those Epic services integrated to keep it going, or what the deal is. I don't think so.
So there's a note next to Unreal Tournament 3 that points that out. And I would have agreed with you to be like, oh, they're probably just going to relaunch these with those services, until I read the note on Unreal Tournament 3 that's like
only UT3 got that note, which UT3 is not terrible, but it's not like the one.
Maybe they'll put a HD package together or something.
3 is not the Unreal Tournament of record. God, I'm looking at 3. I forgot how much 3 was influenced by Gears of War. Visual design.
I don't know how much Unreal I played. Like, what's Unreal Gold is just Unreal?
Yeah, Unreal is like kind of an early version of a Game of the Year edition, I think. Like, came with expansion packs and stuff. Like, that's just Unreal.
Okay. The Unreal main baddies in the aliens.
The Scar. Do you pronounce the J or not? It's the question of our time.
I was because I was going to say Scarge.
Scarge. Skararj.
And they kind of look like Kilgore from Killer Instinct.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yes, they've got cyber claws and.
All right.
Sure, I could see that.
Okay.
Fulgore,
sorry.
Oh, wait, no, hang on. Hang on. Who are we talking?
Are you thinking of Kilgore Trout? Are you thinking of the Kurt Vonnegut protagonist?
Yes. Does he have a little wall he comes over and it's wait, I'm thinking of the robotic guy with the claws with the ponytail.
That's Fulgore in KI.
Okay, good. Kilgore is my nickname for Fulgore. We're on a nickname basis. Here's another weird thing from this article, or from their press release, which this is. They also have all of this stuff. And then, Brad, at the bottom here, it just says, we've also removed Mac and Linux versions of Hatoful Boyfriend. And Hatoful Boyfriend, how they started. It's like, wait, why? Why? What happened?
Got me.
What happened to the Mac and Linux versions of those? Are they...
Weird thing to stick in here?
Are they broken? Why can't...
I didn't think to follow up on that. I thought Devolver put those out.
I don't know.
Did they not? Hang on. Epic Games absolutely is the publisher of Hatoful Boyfriend on Steam. Did that change at some point?
I don't know.
I could have sworn that was a Devolver game.
Devolver has put out so many games in the ensuing years that honestly, it feels like it should be a Devolver game, but I could not tell you if it actually was.
It 100% was.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia.
So the rights must have fallen out with that or something.
I think there was like wasn't there a free version of that game originally, and it's like a kind of a remake that was released commercially, which is the one that was put out by Devolver in 2014. I don't know
Well, yeah, because the original publisher is this company called Misty Press.
Okay.
So, yeah, like, technically the version that we all remember is the remake, which is the one that Devolver put out. But I don't know where Epic entered into that.
Yeah, I super don't know what the lineage is there. That's a weird swerve. And also, what did the Mac and Linux versions do to you?
I don't know. Maybe they're outdated and they won't work anymore.
Look, man, the only thing I feel confident talking about here is the Rock Band and just fucking Dance Central stuff, but...
Rock Band will still have online multiplayer.
Go on.
Well, I didn't want to... I'm just saying, like... Honestly, if you had told me the Rock Band 1 and 2 servers were already offline, I would have believed you. Well, I did not expect that those were still in any way active.
I mean, you can essentially just play everything in 4, right?
Yes, except for a handful of songs that either never made it to a disc export or were part of Rock Band Network, which you can still play those songs because if you've already downloaded them, they're still on your hard drive and like you should still be able to play the game. But as far as like the online multiplayer aspect of it, yeah, I mean, I would have assumed maybe there are still some people out there playing Rock Band 3 multiplayer, but not those other ones.
Yeah, sure. So this does say that 4 will remain playable online. So,
okay. What is the Harmonix catalog at this point? Because I want to see what is still pure and untouched. So the Rock Band games 1 through 3 will be offline since Rock Band 4 online multiplayer will still remain available. I assume when they say online services,
they're also probably talking about leaderboards and things like that.
But the store will still be going, probably, right?
Well, that's the thing. You can't buy new DLC in any of those older Rock Band games.
But you can buy it in 4.
Once 4 came along, all that stuff was only forward compatible for 4 and any expansions they did for that.
Okay. All right. So this thing also says Drop Mix is going to be out. Will be done. So
Drop Mix, I thought, had kind of been done. I mean, not in a, like, you know, done way, but like they weren't actively doing anything with it.
We talked about Fuser and the kind of end of life for Fuser. What is left in the Harmonix catalog? You're shaking.
I'm just shaking my head because it's like it's the Dance Central stuff.
And that's also on this list.
Stuff like A City Sleeps, which was that single player game they put out, but I don't think
that's in it on here.
That's the thing. I don't think there was any online for that game to begin with. So
okay.
But yeah, like, I mean, the thing is, the only going concerns they really had in terms of that stuff was Rock Band 4 and Fuser in, like, the current state of that studio. And I've seen some people on the forums and read subreddits and whatnot hand-wringing a little bit about whether this might be the last year for Rock Band DLC. I don't think there's anything that really lends any credence to that. They haven't said anything to that effect. But they are opening this year's DLC slate with 10 Rock Band Network songs, which has like a little bit of a, hey, we're just going to start clearing out what we have left in the queue kind of feel to it. But like
we're not going out making new deals.
But they haven't said anything to that effect. And they were still putting out new songs as of like a week ago. So like Groove is in the Heart got added. Granted, that was Fuser DLC. I'm sure that was them just signing a different contract, but nonetheless.
I love that Nextlander has one of the 5 people still out there getting all the Rock Band DLC.
Listen, man. Enough people are still buying that stuff that they keep doing it.
It's you. You're keeping it alive. You're doing it.
I don't think my $4 a week is keeping that studio alive. I don't think that's how this works.
I want to look every patron in the eye right now and say your $4 keeps it alive. Your $5
That's not
a
even
month.
one $5 membership.
But I'm just adding it in there. It's sentiment.
Yeah.
Your $5 does make a difference and keeps it alive.
Wouldn't you donate $4 today so that I can play Groove in the Heart by D-Light on drums?
They also mention in here at the bottom a Rock Band, not to be left out, Rock Band Blitz gets some type treatment and some FaceTime in here too. Brad,
I love that game.
This other story here.
I hope something happens with UT. I don't know what it's going to take. I hope people find a way to keep those games alive in some way. Anyway,
UT finds a way.
It does.
What's up with John Carmack?
He's out.
What? Was he ever
Oculus.
in? Was he ever in?
Or Meta or what? He's gone from Facebook.
John Carmack. Is John Carmack still making rockets?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, that's done. All right.
He moved along from that a while ago.
Crashed and burned many years ago.
Okay. What does John Carmack have to say?
They used to compete for the X Prize ages ago, and I don't think ever came close to winning it. So
okay.
This was probably not super surprising, considering he straight up went and founded an AI startup like a year ago, and he's only been like consulting CTO at Oculus for a very long time. But in characteristic fashion, he not only left, he kind of rinsed them on the way out the door with his Facebook post, where he basically just complains very bluntly about how bloated and inefficient the organization is, and how he couldn't get anything done there. And he felt like not the products. I started to say the products were not living up to their potential. Like, he does say nice things about the headsets they're putting out, but like, just a lot of very blunt talk about corporate inefficiencies and struggles with management and that kind of thing.
It kind of feels like he's saying out loud what basically every person who has analyzed the current VR marketplace and all this stuff has more or less intonated of like, hey, it feels like there's a lot of inefficiencies here. There's a lot of software that isn't really delivering, and like the overall product space is just not where it should be. And
also working at Facebook or Meta.
Yeah.
Like, do you mind reading aloud this paragraph here that starts with a good fraction? Because I feel like that's the one in this article that jumped out to me.
Which one?
It's the one in this article that is for some reason a different typeface towards the.
Oh, I'm looking at the Facebook post itself.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It starts with a good fraction of the things.
Hold up.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They pulled that quote. A good fraction of the things I complained about eventually turned my way after a year or two passes and evidence piles up, but I have never been able to kill stupid things before they cause damage, or set a direction and have a team actually stick to it.
Oh, jeez.
I think my influence at the margins has been positive, but it has never been a prime mover.
Oh, man. That is a pretty brutal thing to say, but yeah, okay.
Yes.
But it's a very John Carmack way of approaching it.
Kill stupid things before they cause damage.
Extremely. We have a ridiculous amount of people and resources, but we constantly self-sabotage and squander effort.
Man.
I think our organization is operating at half the effectiveness that would make me happy. Anyway. He's it's kind of some end of an era component to this, because that's not that what he was doing was extremely in games. It was still pretty games adjacent, though. But I guess like he's officially fully not involved in games at all now.
Right, because it was from Bethesda to here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and his new thing is not really games related in the slightest. So.
Keen? Is that his new thing?
Keen Technologies, I think it is.
Okay.
Trying to make an AGI.
What's the G?
An artificial general intelligence or generalized intelligence.
Okay, not a general.
In case you didn't think that AI was frightening enough already.
Yeah.
What if AI was even more capable?
What is that even like an AI that can be applied to many different things? Like not
that can like the kind of top line description I've read is like can essentially perform any intellectual task that a human can.
Okay, what an endeavor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now at least we know who John Connor is going to come back and talk to when he travels through time naked. Like, I've got to find John Carmack.
If you set aside like all the ethical considerations, which I feel is necessary to enjoy this, it's fun to follow his Twitter and look at the insane kinds of weird specialized hardware he's now buying. To do AI development on.
Oh boy.
Just like $200,000 NVIDIA workstations that look like a PC, look like a really nice bespoke PC, except inside there are like multi-tens of thousands of dollar machine learning accelerators instead of graphics cards and stuff. Anyway.
I wonder what his house looks like.
I don't know, man.
It's probably like a cabin. There's probably not a computer in it. He's like, no technology. I know too much. Okay, you pulled another story about a video game classic.
Carmack out, Metzen in.
Yeah, seriously. Boy, he didn't.
Yeah, Chris
wasn't
Metzen.
That long ago, was it? That he was out?
What? That he left?
Yeah, 2 years.
It's been a good long while, I think.
Okay.
Chris Metzen is coming back to Blizzard to work on World of Warcraft again, which Like,
they're going to keep this thing going, aren't they?
I don't even know where to start there, because there's the where are Blizzard's classic franchises at component of this. There's the how much of the awful culture at Blizzard did he preside over component of this. You know,
there's the acquisition.
There's the acquisition stuff. Like it's a multiple converging cans of worms being opened at the same time. That's a lot of worms.
I saw a thing that said like Blizzard also has like 6 updates coming up for World of Warcraft. What's it called? Dragon
Reach.
Dragon Reach
is the new expansion.
That seems
Dragon's
like
Reach.
They're going in.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm mixing that up.
Dragonflight. Sorry,
Dragonflight. Sorry, I was thinking of the Skyrim thing. That expansion seems to have been received pretty well from what I've seen.
Well, that's good for them
compared to the last couple, but also, you know, like what is the Warcraft franchise these days? I don't know.
Well, for folks
I don't think they know.
For folks that don't know, who is Chris Metzen? Why is it of news that he is returning?
Oh, well, he's one of the old school Blizzard guys. He was like kind of head creative for a very long time. I mean, go back and look at like Warcraft 2 and StarCraft concept art, and his signature is on them. If that puts it in historical perspective. So, like, absent all of the workplace problems with Blizzard, this would just be an interesting, like, oh, one of the creatives is coming back to help steer the ship. Like I said, I haven't seen anything that like directly implicated him, but anybody that was there in upper management through those years certainly was like over a lot of that stuff. So,
and he got out like kind of right before everything hit the fan, right?
It's been a little while. I mean, we interviewed him like going to Blizzard.
Yeah.
In kind of early to mid-period Giant Bomb, so it's not like, you know, he hasn't been out of there for decades or anything like that, but I'd have to look up exactly when he kind of retired the first time.
I feel like it wasn't that long ago.
2016.
2016, okay.
Yeah.
And where was he?
I think he just retired. I think he might have been doing some board game stuff for a while.
Okay.
In the interim. I'm not sure.
Well,
anyway, I mean, like WoW was, like WoW is still trundling along, but like what else is Warcraft at this point? You know, it's like,
yeah, they're not going to make another strategy game anytime soon.
Yeah, I think RTS is pretty much dead for the foreseeable future. I mean, obviously Diablo is doing okay, but like, what is StarCraft? What is Warcraft? Are hard questions to answer.
Yes.
Like the last we heard out of StarCraft, they were going to try to turn it into some kind of battlefield shooter thing that didn't work out. So, like, where else you take those franchises at this point, I have no idea.
He's going to work on Overwatch. Gonna get some do some world building.
Not sure if Overwatch is a growth market these days either. He's going to resurrect Warcraft Adventures. That's what he's going to do.
There you go.
They're finally going to polish that thing up and get it where they wanted it and put it out.
Well, what about their card game? What's the card
Hearthstone?
game? Yeah, what about Hearthstone? That's probably still
that still makes money.
Going.
Yeah, he can make some cards.
I haven't seen anyone really talk like extensively about Hearthstone in recent years. Like it's more like there is it's similar to World of Warcraft. There is a base audience that will just keep buying every expansion, and it's probably enough to keep that a going concern.
He's coming back as creative advisor.
Yeah. Yeah, they say the statement they put out says that he's going to focus on WoW initially. Then his work will expand to other projects across this growing franchise.
Franchise.
I don't know if I would describe Warcraft as a growing franchise.
And I'm going to say it should be illegal to call it that.
It's only like 16 years old? 16?
Oh God, no. Dude, it's almost 30 years old.
Wait. Oh, no. I meant World of Warcraft.
Oh,
sorry.
WoW. WoW in particular is 18
18? Okay.
It is damn near 20 years since we got into that Friends and Family beta at GameSpot.
All right. It's a growing, young, growing, new novel market.
But I think Warcraft as a franchise is like 29 years old. Is that right?
Well, they better be doing something for their 30th birthday.
Didn't Warcraft 1 come out in 94? Yes, 94.
Boy.
We're so close.
Yeah, fucking what the hell is Warcraft besides WoW expansions that may or may not hit at this point? I do not know. I hope they come up with something cool.
Make an animated movie. Do it. Man, that live action movie, is that well regarded or
no?
No. Okay. No. Okay.
Not so much.
I mean, I don't think anyone thinks it's the worst video game movie or anything, but it's certainly not one of the well regarded ones.
Oh.
Well,
wow, according to Wikipedia says it is the highest grossing video game adaptation of all time.
Well, they also spent a gargantuan amount of money making it, so...
Do we have to do that game where what is the domestic and what's the overseas?
Oh, wow. It made less than $50 million in the United States.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, I think overseas like it did better.
Movies
did really well in China.
It's no Avatar, let me tell you.
From World of Warcraft to World... Brad?
They did it.
World...
They did it.
Of Assassination.
Those lunatics did it.
What did they do?
They renamed Hitman 3 to Hitman World of Assassination.
So, is this the first World of Assassination we've gotten, or is that a tagline?
They've been using the tagline like since the first one of these, I believe. Okay. I want to say that. I can't remember where all that showed up. Like, it might have been in a trailer. It might have been in the game itself somewhere. I think it was probably on their road maps. Like, there was kind of enter a World of Assassination, I think was the phrasing.
Okay,
in the world. Like, it fucking killed me, man. Like, World of Assassination. It sounds like a theme park where you murder people.
I mean,
I would go to that theme park, I'll be honest.
So delightfully dumb. Anyway, they finally just said, screw it, we're just going to unify this whole thing. Hitman 3 is now... They also... IO did what the cowards Bungie would not. Which is, they should have renamed Destiny 2 to just Destiny a long time ago. Anyway, I get why they didn't, but IO said, screw it. Hitman 3 is now called Hitman World of Assassination. Also, if you buy Hitman 3, you just get everything.
I'm sorry, if you buy what? If you buy
World of Assassination.
I said thank you. Yeah, okay.
If you buy the current product SKU that is available.
There is one Hitman product now available in stores, and to be fair, like their launch of Hitman 3 across multiple PC stores and console as well to a lesser extent, and the way they tried to integrate old content into it and like all the licensing problems in different storefronts, kind of a mess. More than kind of, like it was a problem. So in some way, this is kind of a make good or necessary house cleaning to make it so that, hey, there's just one product and you just get all the content if you buy it.
So there's, I kind of need a fact for this, but on their buy Hitman 3 thing that you linked, you can buy the Hitman World of Assassination for around $70 US, but you can still get some of the DLCs separately in a deluxe pack. So it's not necessarily everything. Is that right?
Yeah, but sorry. I by everything, I meant all the base content from all three games.
Right. And then there's like the additional stuff they charged extra for in those games.
The extra, so I think all the stuff that's still separate is all stuff that was just for Hitman 3.
Like
it's like the 7 Deadly Sins stuff and some of those things. Which all came out after 3. But this needed to happen. Those games rule. Like having it all in one place in one tidy package.
It's what they needed to do, because I think I understand why they launched things the way they did, but it was more confusing than it should have been. And if you are dedicated to just making this the Hitman platform, this is the way to go about it.
And I think hopefully we're not that far off from the freelancer mode finally, even though it's been delayed numerous times.
I'm just amazed they are still continuing to do stuff with this game, and I am very happy about it.
Somewhere hope springs eternal. Somewhere in my mind, I hope that they're doing all this groundwork because freelancer is going to be so amazing.
They say at the end of this thing,
millions of new people are going to want to buy Hitman to play freelancer, that they needed to get this all cleaned up in preparation. I don't know.
They say the changes also have been made with freelancer game mode in mind, where being able to easily access all locations from across the world of assassination is paramount to maximizing your enjoyment.
Yeah, maybe it is going to be awesome. I don't know. It sounds awesome. Freelancer is like the sort of roguelike-ish mode. It sounds like, where they're going to remix missions and you're going to have like a home base you can unlock and decorate stuff in and stuff. Maybe they ran a like technical test for Freelancer a couple months ago, which I didn't try. But I'm excited about it.
There's a bunch of stuff here that I'm not going to go into all of it that kind of goes in. If you want to check it out on your own, you can go see what it means for content you own or how stuff is going to change. And they have a whole section on the storefront changes. Everything makes sense to me, except the last sentence in the storefront changes things that says, on that note, and for extra clarity, Hitman 3 will remain available in its current standalone form through the upcoming Hitman World of Assassination. And everything was making sense until that one sentence I read.
You got me on that one. I don't quite know what they're getting at there.
Yeah.
Really, okay, whatever. I'm excited to go play the freelancer mode. It's all right. Good. A World of Assassination unfolds before you.
Yeah.
I think that's going to do it for the news, yeah?
Did I mention, I mean, this is maybe the key detail. I don't even know if I said this. If you have Hitman 3, you're just getting that other content.
Yes.
Okay, just to be clear. Just to be clear, it's not just people who buy it under the World of Assassination name.
Right.
If you already had just Hitman 3, you were getting upgraded to the full package with all the 1 and 2 stuff as well.
Right. You still will need to complete, I think they say complete the set for Steam for the DLC stuff if you don't have it. You don't get that stuff, but
right.
All right. The news. We have another section of this podcast. We like to call it emails. We're hoping it catches on. We're not sure. We're going to test it out in 2023 and see what the people say. Brad Shoemaker, email address podcast@nextlander.com. Podcast@nextlander.com.
Podcast@nextlander.com. I hear that if you say things 3 times, people are more likely to remember.
What about 4 times?
No, that's then the Candyman gets mad.
No, I'll stay back then.
What
do we got, Brad Shoemaker, in the old email bin?
I'm going to read 2 emails here.
Okay.
Josh from Colorado writes in, is this a sin?
Yes.
I just moved into a house that's quite old, circa 1896. It has all wood flooring, which isn't all original and hasn't been well kept up, but I still like it. Now that I'm finally out of apartments, I want to connect my consoles to my router with Ethernet cables.
Okay.
My question is it a sin to drill a nickel-sized hole in my floor where my game consoles are? The hole will not be visible, but it feels kind of evil to just drill a hole into my wood floor.
This is a great question that I feel like we've all thought about before. Is it
not me? I live in an apartment. I can't do that shit.
You could. Oh, you could.
I can't drill a hole in my floor.
Oh, you could do it.
I promise that if you try hard enough, you absolutely can.
The drill will do the work for you. Don't worry.
The cops will show up if I do that.
No. You might lose your security deposit.
You just got to put some.
Oh, I'm not getting that back anyway.
Just put some toothpaste in it. It'll be fine. They'll never even notice.
Do people get security deposits back? I haven't moved in so long.
What, do people not get security deposits back?
Like I kind of was just under the impression that nobody gets them back these days. That there's always some bullshit about cleaning fees and.
Landlords are notorious about finding reasons not to give it back.
That's what I'm asking. It's been. Gosh, the last time I moved was in the same building, so I haven't had the experience of he just kept my previous security deposit for that one. But I've always gotten most or all of it back. But
we used it for like a last month's rent. But like if we had to pay first, last, and security, we would have a shave of 1 month off and be like, keep the security.
Yeah, I've just gotten the impression that it's a lot more common these days to just gin up some excuse to not pay it back.
Like a full month's rent. It's security, I assume, is still like a full month's rent, right?
Generally, yes.
Yes.
Man.
I've seen a lot of stories from people just saying like, oh yeah, they said carpet cleaning and painting and blah 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 or something like.
Which I think they have to do that legally anyway. If you've been in that apartment, obviously municipalities they're different, but if you're in an apartment for long enough, I feel like they have to paint and do the carpets anyway. If it's a certain amount, I don't know.
Hey, write in with your experiences.
I am a lawyer.
Podcast@nextlander.com.
And a doctor and a journalist and a real estate agent. So all of those things. Okay. Is it a sin though? If you own the house to you got to live happy. You got to live your life happily.
You can't live your life on the basis of what the house was. This is your home. Do what you gotta do to live there. And by that, I don't necessarily mean, fucking paint it zebra print on the outside and fucking, get rid of all your walls. But like little things like this, if it's just gonna make your life better, sure.
That's an old ass house. 1896.
Okay. I got one for you. Here, this might solve your problem. if this is an interior wall that your consoles are against, you could try to go through the base plate of the wall and then put the cables in the wall down into the floor below, and then come out
the baseboard.
I'm talking about the so there's probably a base, like a 2x4 in the wall, like as the base plate. I'm not saying you should do this, and I am not a contractor, and I'm not saying you won't hit electrical wires or anything else, or your wall might be brick. I don't know. I'm just saying there is a world of assassination in which you can drill up through the base plate of that wall a hole through that 2x4, get into the wall, and then out of the wall, and that way, if you ever need to patch that up, you are patching up the. I don't know what he didn't say if he's going from a basement or something, right? We don't know.
No.
Okay, so I don't know what it looks like on the floor underneath. What's going on there? But that's an option.
Assassinate your cabling needs.
Yeah, or to hopefully do not assassinate yourself by drilling into some wiring that is real low on that wall.
If that flooring was all original, which I don't even know if flooring can last for 120, 30 years.
Sure. Yeah, it'll need to be worked on, but sure.
If it was all original, I would say that might be rough to drill a hole into that, but if it's not original, then I don't know.
That's my first thought is I would probably avoid that. I would probably look into going in the wall and then down.
Yeah, get a little, just a little nice little wall plate with Keystone Ethernet jack.
Uh-huh. It's one way to think about it. If somebody were to come in to run that internet, that's probably what they would do. They would run. Yes. They would go in the wall and up. But if it's an exterior wall, you're going to have to deal with all sorts of insulation and all sorts of other garbage.
There's only one solution: tear down the house and completely rebuild it and run cables.
Yep.
As part of the build. It's the only way.
To rip out where they put in the drop for your internet and tell them they need to put it in where your PS5 is now. I'm sorry, you need to wire it here. Trust me, they'll do it. Don't worry. All right, you have another email, Brad?
Yes. Let me find it. Mike in Cleveland.
All right, Mike.
All right, there's media attached here.
Okay, hold on. Let me get ready for this as you prepare.
I'll go ahead and start reading it.
Okay.
I was in the car with my 2-year-old listening to day 2 of your game of the year when at the 4-minute and 33-second mark while talking about the Spider Heck menu game, Vinny remarked, "That part stinks. That's a poopy part."
That is a poopy part.
I have a vague recollection of you saying this.
My son burst out laughing, has since asked me to rewind to that section about 50 times.
Okay.
And throughout the day will randomly shout, "That's a poopy part."
Okay.
We've been having a lot of fun with it, and I thank Vinny for his contribution to my family. Video evidence of him getting pretty excited about it attached.
Okay, so what you're saying is you would like me to...
I found the video evidence to be somewhat fairly grandiose, let's say.
All right, I'm going to attempt to play it here. Here we go. Hopefully this all comes through.
This kid has a future in grindcore.
Yeah, the reverb.
It's very good.
The serious reverb really makes it for me.
Truly incredible.
How did you? What do you have to say about your influence on young minds?
I mean, listen, I'm glad poopy part's the thing that is getting repeated and not something way more horrible.
Yeah,
I always am.
I'm gonna say, are you sure you really want to be listening to our podcast with your kids in the car?
It's anything when somebody asks, like my son's friends ask, "What's the name of our channel?" I say, "You're not allowed to know. It's Mr. Beast. You go look it up. It's fantastic."
No, you don't want to do that.
We're everybody knows Mr. Beast. I find Mr. Beast to be not my cup of tea, but holy cow, Mr. Beast is very popular.
Very popular.
Holy goodness!
I'll say that much. Yes, he is popular.
Mr. Beast not only is popular in the ways that every one of my friends knows who Mr. Beast is and has sometimes asked if I know who Mr. Beast is. Mr. Beast thumbnails will sometimes just show up on our YouTube account because we don't have it track what we watch. So it's like on the raw YouTube, there's Mr. Beast with that Mr. Beast face YouTube thumbnail, and he's something. Let's just say I ate $1 million pizza. Like, that's a Mr. Beast thing, right? That's probably, I ate a $7 million pizza.
Like, his thing is just that he's rich, right? That's it? That's the whole deal?
I think he's rich now.
He is now. I don't keep up with his stuff too much, but every time it crosses my path, it's always a lot of, I threw $200 at this person to see if they do a thing on the spot.
200, but I feel like Mr. Beast.
Well, it depends on what it is.
Yeah. I looked up Mr. Beast.
For a thing that took 5 minutes. Or
like, we don't watch it in this household, but I looked them up to just make sure, like, okay, there's going to be problems, but how deep are the problems? And so, you know, there were definitely problems and, you know, accusations against Mr. Beast of, you know, varying things, but it didn't seem so bad in the, gosh, I hate that I have to say this, in the, like, influencer realm, I guess, but you guys know what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't know. I'm not that familiar with Mr. Beast. There's some like employment stuff and like that. You know,
listen, we are not endorsing. There is no endorsement.
No, hell
here.
no. Hell no.
No. I'm just saying, like, dude seems like he's got a lot of money.
Yes.
I barely know anything about his content. The most I've paid attention to him was, what was it, 2-3 months ago? He was in the news for seeking $1.5 billion valuation for his brand.
Oh wow. I guess I could see it.
Yeah, which, like,
I think he does a lot of charity work too, but again, I don't know enough about business to know if that's like legitimate or like, you know, if she's genuinely good. I am not rendering an opinion on that stuff here.
Like that would be
Mr. Beast fans, please do not send me emails.
But that would be the first time I know of like an influencer turning their brand into like a business that they could sell off to somebody.
Like how
a
do
single,
you do that? Yes.
An individual's brand, I guess I should say, not like a collective with a name on it that is, you know what I mean? That's more of a team.
Yes, like, does Mr. Beast brand go public in a way that you need a valuation to get share prices for the Mr. Beast?
Like, it's not like Rooster Teeth, for example, was a big operation with a ton of employees, and, you know, selling that is fairly common, but this is just a guy with a name that is a brand.
Yeah. Interesting.
And yeah,
very popular on that YouTube.
You don't want to know what's popular on that YouTube.
you know what?
You can find anything.
You know what? There. I don't know what's popular on that YouTube.
Should do content idea. Let's all just open our YouTube site unseen and see what the algorithm gives us.
Like if you opened an incognito window, or if you opened your logged in.
Are you brave enough?
I'm doing it. I'm raw dogging.
No, I mean, like, shit on a stream. Like, are you brave enough to just stream a browser window and open your YouTube
with your like tracked logged views?
That's the whole challenge. Like should turn this into a challenge. Like everybody would just game it. They would go weed out their history.
No, you can't. That's like totally against the spirit of it. You'd have to do it, Brad. You'd have to do it. We would have to all agree to it, and then you would have to do it randomly during a stream. So
that's the thing.
Yeah,
you have to have no warning.
You have to have no warning. That's open your thing. You know what? Mine would be pretty boring.
I have no compunction about it. Yes, I'm looking at mine right now. I'm just fine with. Is Linux Mint better than Windows?
Yes.
Let's see. Here is an episode of the Computer Chronicles from 1985 about hard drives.
Have you watched any of these?
Here is a Commodore 64 long play of Pick and Mix. No, this is just what it's offering to me.
Right. Based on your, okay.
Ooh, Sony mini disc, the not forgotten audio format that never failed.
I didn't forget about it, but I wouldn't say it never failed.
My YouTube recommendations are above reproach, is what I'm trying to say.
Mine is what is a MOSFET? And how is it work?
All right. Okay. I'm on board with this. Yes.
I don't know why I'm getting some of these. I might have my tracking off, but I am getting, I got Ask Adam Savage, 2 scenes Adam refused to film on Mythbusters. Does Linus still like Plex?
Oh, I've totally got that one as well.
Do you?
Does he?
Is it promoted? Maybe it's promoted. Maybe
that might be promoted.
Okay.
I don't know.
I've got a review for X-Transbot's new Teardor Artfire. I've got this is because I was looking up some stuff on the computer. The Aurora PJ90 4K Ultra Short Throw Projector. I don't know why that's on there. Some stuff feels like maybe it's promoted on here. There's a Red Letter Media one on mine that might also be promoted because I haven't watched much of their stuff. Nothing against them, but I haven't watched much of it. What are YouTube Shorts? Oh boy.
Oh, that's their TikTok competitor.
Okay. Does Linus still like Plex?
You can tell by the way the videos are vertical.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, let's make some YouTube shorts. All right. That's probably going to do it for this podcast here. Check us out on YouTube.
I'll note that Alex did not open YouTube.
No.
Here, I'll tell you what's on mine right now.
Uh-oh. Let me guess. Bands. It's all just it's all like metal.
It's a mixture of things. It is a lot of people who play Rock Band and Clone Hero drums. It is some Jackson Galaxy videos because we were looking up some cat stuff recently. And at least one ASMR video.
Aw. Is it again from somebody that does ASMR? Or is it a promoted one? Does that make sense?
I probably looked at one a long time ago, and it probably still thinks I want to watch them.
Okay. Here's the thing. Hey, listen, this is why this is not giving you the real Vinny Caravella. I will most of the time open these things in an incognito window if I see a thumbnail promoted that it's like, do I want to find out if Linus still likes Plex? I might open that in the incognito window too.
Who's Linus?
Oh boy.
Linus of Linus Tech Tips? No,
boy.
Nothing. I don't know why.
Why am I yelling about it? I don't know.
I don't love that channel, and yet I have a ton of recommendations for them.
They might promote a lot. I will still check in. I think we talked about this, the different tiers now of like tech on YouTube, where you get the Linus end of it. You get the who's the guy who reviews? He's kind of the almost the Inquirer style. He does like the kind of investigative it's long hair, kind of looks like
Steve from Gamers Nexus.
Yeah, Gamers Nexus style of like, I went down and I'm gonna blow open this Newegg thing, right? And you got the Linus style, and in the middle there are like the just I'm sitting at my desk, I'm just gonna talk to you about programming this thing and it's funny. And they all know each other there. Weird world. All right, that's gonna do it for this week's show. If you want to help us out, you can go over to patreon.com/Nextlander. You know, a lot of people talk about Mr. Beast and Nextlander in the same breath. They wonder they were going to be like, they're going to be like,
I'm nipping this in the bud right now. Absolutely not.
Yes, we're coming to Fortnite Chapter 5. Stay tuned.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Get Nextlander in Fortnite. That's our new campaign. I forgot we were talking about that for 2023. Jeez. You can go over to patreon.com/Nextlander. Find a tier that you love. Find a tier that's right for you. We got a bunch of fun stuff going on over there. We got a new Never Been a Better podcast. Uh-oh, Brad, you're shaking your head. What'd you find?
I just went and purged every Linus Tech Tips video from my entire YouTube history and then refreshed the homepage.
Yes.
Does Linus still like Plex?
It
still
must be
front and center.
It's got to be promoted. It's got to be a promoted one.
Is the Steam Deck already obsolete? They're everywhere.
Hey, listen, you don't become king of YouTube by sitting there not promoting stuff. Go check out our Patreon. We got the Ramblecast. We got the Watchcast. We got Never Been a Better podcast, hopefully recording soon and going up next week. I'm going to say stay tuned for that, where we might have a little bit later of a production on that one. We'll see. I'm hoping to still get that one up and moving. Alex, we just recorded a Watchcast for Blade.
We sure did.
That'll be up next week for the patrons. Find out our thoughts on Blade. I had never seen it before. You should listen and check it out. Of course, if you go in there and if you want to go up a tier, you can go check out everything we had from all the previous episodes. Those are all sitting there waiting for you. You go in there, you're like, I've been at this tier, I'm going to go to this tier. And you get all the stuff that's in there. It's amazing.
It's all for you.
It's all for you.
It's all for you.
And we couldn't do it without you. So this is a great relationship we have going on here. There is one tier on there, the Mysterious Benefactors tier, that gets their name read on this here show. And I'm going to read those names right now. Starting with RRE, John Richardson, Vornak, Kelly F, James Smith, Brian Lucier, Skywarp, John Hubbard, Sean Miller, Brad Shoemaker's Gabriel Knight's Midsize Voodoo, Evan Cook, Mark Wilhelm, JM, Jerry Lee, Gary Pejke, Robert Fisher, John McInnish, hashtag Bunny Needs a New Job Crimes, Peter Reardon, Thomas Lynn, Jad Rita, Statics, Andrew Jackson, Razgriz 2023, Brian Murphy, Trevor and Adrian R, Kevin Villado, Andrew Tiebkin, Alex Wu, It Me JP, Matt Clements Jr., Edward Cheek, Andrew Slosky, Michael Jonathan Black, Steve Lynn, Matthew Herrig, David Campos, and Tyler Treese. Those are our mysterious benefactors for this week. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people in there I see week after week, and I want to say a big thank you to you.
Yeah.
We read these names every week. I want to say thank you to everybody out there. That's
some stalwarts.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I really do. And thanks to everybody.
Supporters.
New supporters, old-time supporters. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. We really couldn't do it without you. Never think for a moment it doesn't go appreciated. Like Alex said, it's all here for you.
It's all for you.
We're doing it for us. We're here for you.
Yeah.
We're here for you. Like I said before, we got the Watchcast coming up. We got the Ramblecast up already. We've got a grab bag stream going up this week, and on Friday we're looking to maybe jump into that Call of Duty DMZ to try our best to extract
your best.
Try your best to extract.
Losers always whine about the best,
but you're so big.
Now we're mixing performances and accents here in a way that does not make any sense.
Thank you, Brad Shoemaker. Welcome back. Happy New Year. I'm still within the time limit.
Same to you. Wait, the time limit?
Yeah, remember
there's a limit to how long
we have.
That's how long we started this podcast ago. We've already forgotten.
Right.
Yes. Happy New Year, Alex Navarro.
Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year to everybody out there. Thanks again for supporting us in 2023. If you're listening again, if you want to jump in there, head over to patreon.com/Nextlander. Glad to have you. Welcome, and thanks to all of our longtime supporters as well. See you next week.